Ah yes, Dr. Evil, the man, the myth, the billion-dollar failure. As the main antagonist of Austin Powers, Dr. Evil is what happens when you take a Bond villain, strip away all competence, and replace it with daddy issues, ridiculous one-liners, and an over-reliance on air quotes. He's the pinnacle of 90s villainy, a man with unlimited resources and absolutely zero idea how to use them properly. He's terrifying in the sense that he could end the world, but comforting in the sense that he will absolutely mess it up long before he gets the chance. So, let's break down the legend himself, shall we? Who is Dr. Evil? Dr. Evil is the classic supervillain stereotype, complete with a secret lair, an evil laugh, a hairless cat, and an entire army of henchmen whose only job is to die in stupid ways. But what makes him special is that he's so hilariously bad at his job. It's almost impressive. His main weakness? Himself. Every time he has a solid evil plan, he overcomplicates it, underestimates his enemies, or gets caught up in pointless drama, usually with his own son, Scott, who is the only one with a working brain in this whole operation. Dr. Evil's evil plans always start strong. He's got the secret bases, the elaborate traps, and the doomsday weapons. But then, without fail, he fumbles it harder than a Bond villain on Ambien. Take his ransom demands, for example. He demands a ransom of $1 million, unaware that this is basically pocket change. When corrected, he ups it to $100 billion. But by then, it's too late. He's already been memed into oblivion. But underneath all that, you can tell what Dr. Evil really wants isn't world domination. It's attention. He's an insecure, bald-headed man-baby who just wants to be taken seriously, even though his behavior suggests he should be put in timeout with a juice box. You gotta give it to him. Dr. Evil looks like a villain. The bald head, the gray Nehru suit, the pinky pose, the air quotes. This man is iconic. He's also got a killer evil squad. Mini-Me, the hilarious bite-sized clone who is somehow way more competent than him. Frau Farbacina, who yells everything like a German war siren and has the most aggressive, resting villain face in cinema history. Number 2, his right-hand businessman, who actually knows how to run an evil empire and should probably be in charge. But his biggest strength? His refusal to learn from his mistakes. This man fails over and over again, but instead of adapting, he keeps making the same dumb decisions, and that level of commitment is almost inspiring. Dr. Evil's biggest weakness is not Austin Powers, it's Scott. Scott Evil, his regular, non-villainous teenage son, is the only sane person in this entire operation. He constantly points out the flaws in Dr. Evil's plans, like why they don't just shoot Austin Powers instead of putting him in an overly complicated, escapable death trap. And Dr. Evil ignores him every single time. Scott's sarcasm and utter disappointment in his father are so real, you can feel it through the screen. If Dr. Evil had just listened to Scott, he would have conquered the world in 30 minutes. Instead, he's too busy delivering dramatic monologues and laughing for too long. He also overcomplicates everything. If he kidnaps Austin Powers, does he just shoot him? No. He puts him in a slow, unnecessary trap and then leaves the room, assuming it will work. This is why villains never win, people. He's technically evil, but his plans are so comically stupid and self-sabotaging, the world is never actually in danger. He's got the style, the army, and the resources, but his own ego, pettiness, and inability to take advice keep getting in the way. If he ever stopped talking and actually followed through on one of his plans, he'd probably win. But let's be real, that's never gonna happen. If this evil breakdown made you laugh, like this analysis, subscribe for more villain deep dives, and hit that bell button like it's a self-destruct switch on a failing evil lair.